Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tex. Today is Monday, November 25, 2019. Just getting home from work and getting a chance to do a trade recap for you on this trade I took today on Netflix. Caught a really nice win on it. Was looking for more, but just didn't really want to give it to me. The market overall was ripping right out of the gate this morning. Take a look at the SPY. Just ripped right up past its all-time high. Came back, held it as support, and just stayed strong all day long. So maybe that had something to do with the fact that Netflix didn't want to sell off more. I was looking at Netflix this morning for a short because it did get downgraded. And when we look at the 5-minute chart here, you can see the initial reaction to the downgrade, big move down. So, of course, I always mark out my pre-market low. There it is right there, your pre-market high. Those are always very key levels. Additionally, I marked out, to go to the daily chart, I put a mark at the previous high of day right there at 311.40. And the previous low of day was also the pre-market low. So basically just have my pre-market levels marked with blue lines. The previous high of day usually marked with red. Previous low of day I will mark with green. Significant levels of resistance to pay attention to. On the upside I usually mark out yellow. And if I'm going to be looking for a possible dip buy, I'll mark something out as a kind of like this blue color with the 50 EMA. So I use color coding for my support and resistance lines on TC2000. Just helps me know exactly what I'm looking at when it occurs. When we go to a 5-minute chart on this, I noticed, we have this nice uptrend here, right? So we're putting in consecutive higher lows. And I put this trend line on the chart, and what I did is I actually started it right here, and I anchored it here. And I noticed by doing that, it does cut through some of the lows on those candles, but we got a really nice interaction in pre-market right here. So the initial reaction was down, of course, on the downgrade, but we did get a nice reaction with that trend line in pre-market as we bounced back up there. So I was noticing that, and I liked the possibilities of this trend line coming into play into the open. More importantly, we have a lot of overhead congestion. So some of the things that we'll point out, you have your previous close sitting right there. You have the previous high of day right there. You have the pre-market open right there, and there's your pre-market high. So all of this congestion of overhead resistance was, probably going to be difficult for Netflix to at least initially get through. I was thinking Netflix would sell off all day on the downgrade because obviously buyers have been stepping in and buying it up. Thought maybe they would panic out and we could get an all-day sell situation. But as you can see, Netflix did reverse and went higher along with the market. So if we go over to the open and kind of dial it in here, and actually this previous close line has changed. TC2000 is calculating this with after hours and pre-market data. And because we are now in after hours, after hour session is closed for today. You no longer can see the after hour session from last Friday. So the previous close line was actually up here, and that was marking out the after hours close from Friday. So anyways, as we were coming right out of the open here, I was discussing in chat that I was definitely looking for a short, but I wanted to see Netflix pop up, maybe put in a lower high because the move down was a pretty big move down, and we basically consolidated sideways throughout pre-market, just kind of inching a little bit higher. So I definitely wanted Netflix to get up a little bit higher to get a short going on it, but I wanted to wait for confirmation. I didn't want to just take it into a level because the fact that there are several levels up here, and we don't know exactly which one it's actually going to reject. So we want to give it a chance to prove itself and preferably look for a lower high setup. So right out of the open, we got a really nice interaction with this trend line. Again, remember that this previous close line was not here. This is actually marking Friday's regular trading hours previous close. The previous close line was right up here. Okay, so anyways, we got that nice interaction with the trend line and a stiff rejection off of that. So I thought, okay, this looks really good actually. Let's see if we can get a pop up in a lower high underneath of that initial opening high on the rejection of that trend line. So we did get the pop up, but not really a lower high. Technically, you almost have like a little double top right here, okay? And I was tempted to actually take that, but I didn't take it because this isn't necessarily the double top that I would like. It's very close together, and again, the fact that we have so much congestion with these different resistance levels overhead, it could have easily squeezed a little bit higher into one of the other resistance levels, and I didn't want to put that much risk on, because if I'm getting in, well, figure with spreads and everything, but roughly if I'm getting in here and I have to risk all the way up to the last resistance level, which is pre-market high, that's 2.5 points. That's way too much risk. So I didn't take it there. Good thing I didn't, because the very next candle we squeezed up. Now, again, the previous close for after hours on Friday was right up here, and I noticed that when we squeezed through this trend line, the very next candle we rejected off that previous close. We couldn't quite get up to the previous high of day, and we got stuffed right back down. So this right here is telling me something. When you see a price break through a resistance level and then the very next candle come crashing right back down through it, that's very bearish. The same goes for inverse. If you see a stock break through a support level and then immediately rip right back over it and reclaim it, that's generally bullish. Okay, so that kind of gives you a clue that that resistance level or that support level is likely to hold up. So as soon as I saw it come stuffed right back down underneath the trend line, and again underneath that previous close line that was sitting up in that area, I knew right away that this is probably going to come down, and really what I was looking to target on this trade was down here, your pre-market low and that previous low of the day. So once I saw that stuff, I sat tight and I wanted to see if we could get just one more pop-up into this trend line. And once we came down, you can see basically we just almost, it's not perfect, but we almost like bear flagged right here. You have the initial move down into the 9 EMA, and we're basically just trading sideways. So this huge stuff down, again, very bearish, getting right back down underneath resistance. Gave me the confidence to go ahead and pull the trigger on the trade, and actually pulled it right here. Okay, so we popped up, couldn't get up to the trend line on this candle, as you can see right there. The next candle we popped up, and there was actually the pivot point on the day sitting right here from the pivot point study. So I noticed that we were rejecting that as well. And so on this candle right here, as this candle was coming down, I pulled the trigger, because in real time, this candle right here looked like it was about to just go. So once I saw that, I got in. I got filled near the bottom of the candle, and it didn't go on that candle. So I thought, all right, well, let's sit tight, because my risk is obvious. I'm going to risk right here to this trend line. I could risk up to high of day, but that was a little bit more risk than I wanted to give it. And based on what I was seeing here on this price action, the way it got stuffed right back down underneath resistance, if I was correct, it shouldn't have been able to get back above that resistance level. It should have stayed below it. If I was incorrect, it would have easily gotten back above that resistance level and probably would have squeezed up higher. So there's no reason to really hold up to high of day was my thinking on the trade. So the very next candles when we got the resolution, you see the continuation down. We came down into low of day right here, potential double bottom. So using my hotkeys as we came down into that low of day, I took a quarter of my position off just to go ahead and pay myself something, lock in a little bit of green, remove some of the risk from the trade. Obviously, anytime you're coming into a double bottom in your low of day, it's a potential support level. So you need to make sure you pay yourself something. Taking a quarter of your position off is usually a good idea, and then try to let the rest ride as much as you can to your profit target. So from where I got in, like I said, I was risking to this trend line, so about 1 point risk on the trade, and ideal target was going to be down to pre-market low and that previous low of day, so 5 points on the reward side. So 5 to 1, pretty good. I'll take that any day of the week. So once I took a quarter off into that double bottom, popped up right here into the VWAP. Nice quick doji rejection there, and then continuation down in the next candle. So at this point, it's looking really, really good. Coming down nicely. And I did not have this line right here on the chart yet. Okay, so as it was coming down here, I noticed that we had a potential buyer's candle, potential reversal candle form right here. All right, so I immediately looked at the chart and threw a line on right here and was like, all right, let's see what that actually goes to. So if we look back here, we can see that there's a small little support hold on this candle in pre-market, nothing really major, but if we zoom out just a little bit further, we can see that there was some support being held right there throughout that area. It's a relatively minor level, but obviously with Netflix making this extended move down, it's looking for any piece of support it can find to get just a small bounce off of it. So once I saw that, as this candle was coming up right here, I went ahead and covered most of my position. And partly because even though it was just a minor support level, the market overall, again, was just really ripping. So I found it really hard to have the kind of patience that I needed to have for this trade to really reach my profit target because, obviously it was very divergent from the market, and I just wasn't sure how much longer Netflix would be able to really sell off with the market literally ripping faces off. So I did cover most of my position there, and I'm down to just a quarter position, hoping to get down here to my profit target on it. Nice rejection off the 9 EMA. Next candle comes down and looking good right here. So I'm thinking, okay, so we should be able to get my profit target. I put an order out at 304.50, which is just ahead of that pre-market low level. There's your pre-market low. So it's at 304.35. I threw an order out at 304.50 to cover my entire position. And, came down, here we go, on this candle, and then came down a little bit lower on this candle, and then that was it. That was the low of day. So when we bounced up into the 9 EMA right here, I'm sitting tight, and I'm thinking, well, if we hold the support level here and we start to push up any higher, I'm just going to go ahead and take it off the table because I just don't like what the market's doing. So we got this doji hold, perfect support hold right there. And again, like I said, that was just a minor level, but you can see that obviously it had some significance. As soon as that support held and this candle started to lift up, I just took the trade off. And it's a good thing I did because obviously that was low of day. And sometimes you just have to trust your gut. So, you don't always get what you plan for your risk reward on these trades. But I gave it a chance, and, I got a nice green trade out of it, so I really can't complain. But it's a shame, it came so close, but didn't quite get there. And something else that I'll kind of discuss with you, this is a good learning opportunity. So when you see a stock that sells off like this and inevitably gets a retrace back up into the VWAP, so you get this nice VWAP retrace right here, you have to kind of ask yourself, like, if you miss this initial move, right, you didn't get in this move and you're looking for some kind of a retrace so you can get involved on the short trade. It got downgraded, it had a catalyst, you're thinking, this thing should go lower on the day. And even I myself was thinking about getting back in the trade here at the VWAP. You have to be kind of careful about that because it's not that there's anything wrong with that, but you really want to see that VWAP reject within a couple of candles. Okay, so if it actually doesn't reject within a couple of candles and it just kind of holds up right here under the VWAP as Netflix did, the odds are that it's probably going to end up squeezing higher, because what happens here is you have to think like shorts, right? The shorts like myself who are already in this trade, if they didn't take everything off down here, they're looking for another place to add to their position because they're probably thinking that Netflix is going to continue going lower. It's got a catalyst on the day, right? So a great place to add to your position is on this retrace into the VWAP. So you have existing shorts who are probably going to add to their position there. And then you have new shorts who missed that initial move who are going to open a short position right there. Okay, so you have shorts who are inevitably going to pile into the VWAP. And if you don't get that resolution within a couple of candles and it just sits there and holds up right under the VWAP, what do you think is going to happen? Those shorts are going to start giving up, right? So this candle right here looks like, it's going to start going. And actually this one right here initially, look, okay, it comes into the VWAP, rejecting, nice, but nope, the next two candles come back up. And then this candle comes down, puts in a new low. So, shorts are thinking, all right, this is starting to work. But what happens the next two candles? Rips above the VWAP, right? So it was a good, I kind of watched this as it came into the VWAP right here. I sat tight, and then this candle rejected, and I wanted to see continuation. I wanted to see the next candle red and putting in a new low, but we didn't get it, right? It bounced right back up. So immediately, as soon as I saw it reject off the VWAP and then lift right back up, immediately I knew, nope, there is no way I'm shorting it right here into the VWAP. So kind of a good little lesson there. And with that, it's a nice trade. I really can't complain. Just didn't get the profit target on the trade. The only other thing that I did is I took one more trade as it basically ripped higher here on this retrace. right back up into this trend line. Obviously a little bit extended from the 9 EMA. I did take a quick trade. I shorted it right into the trend line just as it was coming into the trend line, as it was still squeezing up, and then took 75% of the position off on this quick retrace down into the 9 EMA. Left a quarter on with a stop at break even just in case we did get more continuation down, but it just wasn't meant to be. Obviously, Netflix was strong on the day along with the rest of the market, so got stopped out on the rest of the position right there as it came back up. I did trade equity today just because it is a holiday week. As you know, Thanksgiving is on Thursday, so I wasn't really sure what to expect as far as volume and everything in the market, so I just wanted to be able to manage my risk a little bit better in case volume was relatively light, and I didn't want to get stuck into kind of a bad situation holding contracts and whatnot. So anyways, I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Hopefully the video was enjoyable. This is going to be the last video I'm able to make this week because I'm going to be busy with family and everything all week. But we'll come back fresh next week and get out some new videos. All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate it as always. Take care. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you have a great one. Spend time with friends and family. And we'll catch you in the next video. See ya.